All right, we're at MAGFest 2020 talking to Julius Verzosa, multi-instrumentalist, jazz musician. Why don't you give us a little background of your life as a musician?
Sure. So I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I started out just doing elementary school band, playing trumpet. High school, I got in the jazz band just because it thought it sounded cooler than concert band, so signed up. In college was kind of like my first introduction to playing video game music. They had a student group there called the University of Maryland Symphony Orchestra. So that was my first experience playing video game music with like another group of musicians. And within that group, there was actually some people who they put together a group to go to MAGFest like every year, and that's when I first heard about MAGFest and got into coming to this event.
Well, what was your exposure to like video game music before MAGFest?
So growing up, like video game music was just sort of like one of those genres I just kind of got into because I played like lots of video games growing up. So like I obviously heard the music a lot, but I found like I would actually like seek out music from like I ended up like listening to like tons of Final Fantasy music when I was little, even though I had never like I've like never played any of the Final Fantasy games like at that time when I was growing up. But I had listened to like all of their soundtracks. I didn't even own like any of the PlayStation consoles.
What platforms did you use to find the music?
Just on the internet. Like, I think growing up we had AOL, and there was like this. One of the things that AOL gave you was like this kind of file, like server you could just kind of browse, and I guess people would just put all sorts of random stuff on there. So, yeah, that was kind of an interesting way to.
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't
find
heard
out,
anyone talk about the AOL file sharing server yet. Cool. So, like, when you started getting involved in MAGFest, like, what kind of like groups did you find, and what kind of successes did you find in video game music performance?
Sure. So, I ended up going to one of the rooms, which was Jam Space. It was a lot smaller back then, but that was my first exposure to kind of this informal, like, just meeting up with like random people and just kind of playing music like on the fly. That's something I'd never really experienced before. And so the Jam Space at MAGFest was kind of my first experience of that, and that kind of got me hooked into that. So I started, like, I came every year after that. I started staffing Jam Space, and eventually moved on to staffing like Shed Space and Jam Clinic, which I continue to do like now.
And what kind of groups do you perform with outside of like just playing a Jam Clinic when you're here? Because you played main stage a couple times, right?
Yeah. So currently I actively play in, some of the people I knew who were in the University of Maryland Symphony graduated and wanted to keep on doing that kind of stuff, so they formed a community orchestra called the Washington Metropolitan Symphony Orchestra. That group played main stage a couple years back. I have some friends who I met just playing music just kind of around MAGFest, like in random rooms, like in Jam Space or wherever in the hallways. So some of those friends decided to put like a kind of a loose group together called VJams. So we did main stage like 4 years ago or something like that, like Mag Prom or Mag Cabaret or whatever that event was called, and we've played MAGFest a couple times since then, just in like random spots like Jam Space or in the Belvedere lobby.
Cool. So how has your MAGFest been this year, and what are you looking forward to with the like day and a half we have left?
Yeah, it's been really busy. I had a bunch of shifts Thursday, so I was mostly doing that in Jam Clinic. VJams had a performance last night at midnight in Jam Space, so I was busy with that. We were rehearsing like in the afternoon before that. And then this morning there was like this panel / orchestra performance that I heard about that they were looking for percussionists. So I decided to help out with that. But now that's over, I have a little bit of free time.
Nice. What are you going to do with the free time other than waste your time with this interview?
Probably like wander around a little bit because I haven't really seen a whole lot of the other spaces other than Jam Clinic. So yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks for talking to me. Have a good rest of your MAGFest.
Thank you.